Coming up right here, right now on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night, Austin Aries of TNA Impact Wrestling is our in-studio guest. We look back at this past Sunday's Bound for Glory on pay-per-view, and several matches have been made for Hell in a Cell. All that and so much more coming up right here, right now on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime on My 24 Milwaukee.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night for Saturday, October 18, 2014. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard, one-time knockout, straight-edge, hardcore Divas Hall of Famer, Hero.
Yes.
And how are you here on October 18th?
I am glad to be back on My 24 Milwaukee.
Took a week off last week due to college football, and what'd you do with your week off?
I enjoyed my week off. I didn't have to see you, talk to you, look at you, anything.
So you're suffering from withdrawal symptoms?
No, not at all. I had a very relaxing week.
Well, it couldn't have been as relaxing as mine without fixing your problems.
I have lots of problems.
Let's go right into this week's WWE report, ladies and gentlemen. And coming out of Raw this past week, several matches have been made for Hell in a Cell, which is October 26th, next Sunday, on pay-per-view and the WWE Network. And thanks Seth Rollins, by the way, who was in this chair, your chair, just a couple of weeks ago, who finally cleared it up for me. If you have the network for $9.99 a month,
oh my God,
you
you're
don't
still
have to
stuck on
buy
this?
the pay-per-view on the network for $54.99.
No, you don't.
Because you've bought the network for $9.99 a month.
Exactly.
You know, I never renewed. It just happened.
Really?
I think I'm still paying for it.
I'm sure you are.
I can still watch stuff. Watch WrestleMania 30.
I'm sure. I'm sure
you're
you're still paying for it. Believe me, you're not gonna get it for free.
Well, the matches that have been made, two of which will occur in the structure known as Hell in a Cell. Firstly, it will be Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank. This match, two former members of The Shield. It's what Seth Rollins said he wanted right here on this program, and now it is official for Hell in a Cell next Sunday.
Makes me nervous.
Why is this?
Because you're getting the two young studs that everybody out there wants to see in the main event of a pretty big pay-per-view.
Is that right?
Yes. It's a gimmick match.
It is a gimmick match with a gimmick in it. The briefcase.
Yeah, so what is the gimmick? Is it the briefcase or is it going to be the cell? But the briefcase is on the line, so it's got to be about the cell. And you're going to have two guys that hate each other, that want to beat each other up. And the cell is supposed to keep people out.
And keep them in.
They always find a way to get out. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've done it for years. These guys aren't big enough to get thrown through the cage. So, my concern is that a cage match is usually the end of a feud.
Yes, especially in a Hell in a Cell match.
Absolutely it is. So this has to be the be-all, end-all match.
No.
They really haven't had a match, if you really think about it.
Didn't happen. What was between that? Night of Champions? What happened in Night of Champions?
They did have a Night of Champions match where it was
a great match, actually.
But, yeah, it's just...
Are you saying we've not built far enough to this point?
Well, no. There's a lot of emotional investment in this match, and it's what the fans absolutely want to see. But I think that it's the wrong match for these two right now. I think it's too soon. Is it
because you hate Ambrose or Rollins? I forget.
I don't hate either one. Oh. That's just way too much.
You hate Roman Reigns.
No, I love Roman Reigns. Okay. He's a big, jacked up guy. He's box office money.
This week.
I've always been a Roman Reigns guy.
Okay. No, I thought you were Dave Hero guy.
Don't JLB me. So, yes. Oh. Yeah. So, but let's hope they can deliver, because if they don't deliver in this pay-per-view match, I think both guys might get knocked down a notch or two.
There's no chance they're going to not deliver in this matchup. They have had tremendous matches in the past that we haven't seen in WWE.
But this is a gimmick match.
It is a gimmick match.
You can hide stuff. You can do different things you can't normally do. It has to be top-notch. This match has got to steal the show on the pay-per-view, because the other matches we've seen everything else that's been announced.
Do you think we'll see some cell activity in this matchup? We haven't seen it in a while. Take it up top. Maybe somebody's taking a little trip off the top.
I think that they're going to want to. I hope they don't. Here's why I hope they don't. I'll give you two reasons.
Number one,
Daniel Bryan.
More about him in a minute.
Reason two, Roman Reigns. They can't afford any more injuries.
That is so true. That is so
Right now, this roster is as weak as it's ever been.
Some would say that Ambrose would not be in this match if not for the injury to Roman Reigns.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well, another matchup that was made, and this one pits two WWE mainstays against each other in a Hell in a Cell matchup, and that's John Cena versus Randy Orton.
See, this is the stake of the pay-per-view, this match. The sizzle is Ambrose and Rollins. But you need to have the two recognizable faces on the pay-per-view, well, to sell the network. Because some fans aren't invested into Rollins and Ambrose, right, but they are invested into either Orton or Cena.
Another matchup that was made this past Monday night on Raw. It's Brie versus Nikki Bella, David Hero.
Yeah, how about that?
And the loser must be the other's, and I quote, bitch for 1 month.
They used to do that a lot of time, in the South. Like in Georgia Championship Wrestling or Mid-South Wrestling. You remember that kind of stuff? You probably don't.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where...
And Abraham fixed everything.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay? Let's not go there, Damian Nelson. All right? Don't paint me in no corner. No, they would do all the time, like when Baby Doll would become Tully Blanchard.
Baby Doll.
Yeah, Baby Doll, or Precious, or whatever,
yes,
or Missy Hyatt.
Is that era of valets? Well, valets really don't exist.
They don't exist. Managers don't really exist either.
Marlena.
Yeah. Oh, they did that with Marlena.
Sunny.
Remember that when she was with Brian Pillman for a little while? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Other matches announced via text message from WWE this past Tuesday were a matchup for the United States Championship. Sheamus will defend against The Miz and Damien Mizdow.
Great. Let's talk about Rusev and Big Show. I could care less about The Miz.
It's a singles matchup between Big Show and Rusev.
I like it. Yes. What's so funny about that?
Well, your hatred for The Miz.
It's not hatred. I'm just past it. I mean, thank God he has Damian Sandow with him. That is the most entertaining part of the entire program.
Nothing matters that's happening in the ring when Mizdow is at ringside mimicking everything that the Miz
fantastic.
does. It's absolutely
It's fantastic. And you almost old school wrestling fans, Vern Gagne would just be livid.
Yeah.
Because he wants the fans to focus on what's happening in the ring, and not on the guy outside the ring putting on air headlocks and air arm locks and air arm bars.
We will, of course, next week on this broadcast talk much more about Hell in a Cell.
We're going to book it, aren't we?
We are going to be the booker.
Be the booker.
But some news coming out of WWE this past week. A longtime ring announcer from World Wrestling Entertainment, the man you saw on Raw every Monday night, Justin Roberts, was released from the company this past Monday after Raw as well. Now, there are some stories about some shenanigans that may have caused that. We don't have a definitive answer at this point, but Justin Roberts sent out a statement just yesterday, actually, 2 days ago, rather, indicating his gratitude, rather, for his time, his 12 years in WWE.
What, you think Arda had something to do with it?
I don't think so.
I mean, he's the new guy.
Maybe he's not a ring announcer.
He could be. Can you imagine that?
Daniel Bryan, folks, is apparently going to need more surgery and may not even be back by the time of the Royal Rumble next year. The Daniel Bryan story...
It's tragic. It's terrible.
It's almost one of wrestling's greatest tragedies.
It's almost like, what is that real popular Christmas movie? It's a Wonderful Life.
Something about the wings on the angels.
Yeah. Guy wants to jump off the bridge.
7th Avenue or 6th Avenue.
Right now, I mean, Daniel...
jumped off the Hone Bridge last weekend. Didn't die. WWE will present another NXT Live special that's going to occur on December 11th from Full Sail University. And that's this week's WWE Report, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back after this short timeout, our guest right here in this very studio, replacing this guy, will be Austin Aries, the greatest man.
I'm going to have to apologize for something. I know it.
We'll be right back, folks.
Follow us on Twitter for breaking news, live wrestling chat, and pure hilarity. Head over to twitter.com/PWR show and be part of the conversation.
When you're diamond shopping, variety is important. At Robert Hack Diamonds, we'll show you multiple diamonds side by side underneath the microscope and show you what to look for when buying a diamond. GIA graduate gemologists are on staff for expert diamond grading. Robert Hack has affordable prices on all diamonds, including diamonds certified by the GIA. Need a mounting for your diamond? Our selection is huge. Buy your diamonds today at Robert Hack Diamonds or visit roberthackdiamonds.com.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, prime time Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. Damian Nelson here in the PWR studios, and what a week it's been so far, and a week that will continue to just get great, because I am privileged and honored to be sitting next to the greatest man who ever lived, Austin Aries.
I don't know. That's pretty. That's a pretty boisterous title, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. So why did you give it to yourself?
Why not? it's something, you know. Aim for the stars, man. You know, shoot high.
I don't know how this is possible, but in 17 years of doing this broadcast here in Milwaukee, where you're from,
right,
you've never been in our studio.
It's weird, right? You know, even though I grew up around here, I haven't really lived here much. You know, went off to college in Minnesota, did the training up there, and then, you know, this crazy business has taken me a lot of places.
Yeah.
Other than Milwaukee,
yeah.
So it's good to be down here finally.
But you wrestled a lot in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about your old days, if you will, including wearing a bunny suit at one time.
I did.
For our dear friend Angel Armani.
I did, yeah. I was the Easter bunny. So, you know, I mean, it's on my resume. So if there's any openings for wrestling bunnies out there, I guess.
I think there was one recently.
I was pretty good. The kids love me.
But wrestling all over Milwaukee, getting your start in Milwaukee, moving on to Ring of Honor, moving on to TNA, moving back to Ring of Honor,
sure,
back to TNA Impact Wrestling. And TNA Impact Wrestling, as of late, has been presenting on a weekly basis probably the best wrestling television show each and every week, which is saying quite a bit. However, TNA and Impact Wrestling, the brand, coming off the heels of Bound for Glory just last Sunday over in Japan, which was a great wrestling show. The brand TNA, the brand Impact Wrestling, is arguably damaged. And for whatever reason, it is damaged. But how do you, as a talent with TNA Impact Wrestling, overcome that damaged brand, if you will, even though you guys are presenting the best wrestling television show each and every week?
Well, I think it's important, and when you start talking about the best wrestling show, that that's everyone's personal taste. And what we need to go out there and do is present something different than what people already have. And as far as the brand being damaged, I think the biggest obstacle that we have is getting the brand out there. You know, you can have the greatest show on earth if nobody knows that you're there putting it on. Does it exist?
Yeah.
And so for us, it's about getting that, you know, the Impact Wrestling, TNA Impact Wrestling name out there to the masses, and so that they have an opportunity to check us out and hopefully like what they see and continue to support us.
How many years have you been in the business now? I know you're only
14,
24.
yeah, 14. I started when I was 10. Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
That's impressive.
Yep. I was the same height, too. But, yeah, no, 14 years, started in 2000. And, but, man, I feel good. You know, I don't feel like I've even hit my peak yet. You know, I know this day and age, you know, a guy that's, you know, north of 30 is considered old or on his decline. But, you know, I'm 36 now. And I don't look it, I don't feel it, and I certainly don't move like it in the ring. And, you know,
well, you'd rather be 36 than 56, I think Dave Hero.
Well, you know what? Hey, man, if I can look like Dave Hero at 56, then
no, you don't want to.
Well,
and he has never been and never will be the TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
No, and he has never and probably will never be a vegan either. So.
When you won that TNA World Heavyweight Championship, what happened to Austin Aries, the man? What was that like? What was the feeling being the man who was representing that company overall as its champion?
You know, I was very excited and very excited to be put in that position and have that opportunity. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I don't feel like I really got a chance to fulfill everything that I wanted to do as the man in TNA Impact Wrestling, because, you know, I really feel that given the opportunity, I can carry a company and provide, you know, a lot of exciting matchups and different struggles between the characters that we have there. And, you know, I felt like I never really got off the ground. You had the Aces and Eights kind of come in and dominate the storylines. You had the Jeff Hardy redemption, you know, come back, and somewhere along the way, I kind of got lost in the shuffle. So, you know, all that does for me is keep that fire lit under my ass, and you know, hopefully I'll get the opportunity again, and this time do it right.
Wrestling in general, whether it be Ring of Honor, whether it be Impact Wrestling, whether it be WWE. What is your overall opinion of the business right now? Not necessarily even comparing it to other eras, if you will, but just overall the business right now, being in it for as long as you have been.
Man, you know, it's funny now. I look at wrestling sometimes. I go, how silly it is what we do. You know, it really is. And so I start to understand for people who didn't grow up watching wrestling how they can look at it and have it maybe not connect. But you know, the business right now, it's in a place it's never been. You have obviously WWE, very mainstream, very corporate. And you know, that changed the landscape of things. And then there's a big gap between, you know, TNA Impact Wrestling, and then there's a big gap to your Ring of Honors, and then there's a big gap to all your independents. Right. So you know, I've always been a big believer that until we get some type of regulation in this industry, you know, we seem to slip through the cracks. You know, we're not quite entertainment, we're not quite sport. Nobody really wants to claim us. You know, you look at mainstream entertainment, Hollywood, you know, television, and they still in some ways can thumb their nose at us and not really embrace us, even though we're some of the best entertainers, some of the best stuntmen.
52 weeks a year, by the way.
No off season, no redos. You know, a lot of this is, you know, we go in there and we create magic as it happens. And a lot of other actors, the great ones in Hollywood or on television, can't say the same thing. So I think that, you know, this business is long overdue to finally get the respect it deserves, and all the great talent that really performs at a high level should be revered.
Who have you not worked with in this business that you want to work with?
Man, you know what? There's a lot of guys. Me and Dave Hero were just talking about this not that long ago. You know, I've always been the indie darling type guy, you know, that give me the good match, give me the 4-star match. And there's a lot of guys from, you know, your Shane Helms and your Tommy Dreamers and maybe some of these guys that we never crossed paths that were more sports entertainment that I would love to get in there and mix styles with, you know. So, you know, I look forward to that opportunity because, you know, I still think I got a lot of juice left in me. So.
Well, it's Wednesday nights on Spike TV. It's TNA Impact Wrestling, where you can see Austin Aries each and every week. Austin, thank you for coming down. And this has to be the beginning of many more appearances for you here on the Pro Wrestling Report when you're home.
Sure would like that. It'd be great.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time continues right after this here on My 24 Milwaukee.
Big thanks to TNA star Austin Aries for joining us on Primetime this week. Next week, we welcome TNA star and one of the stars of The Amazing Race, Robbie E., to the show, so be sure to tune in next week right here on Primetime on My 24 Milwaukee.
That's right. What is the sum of problems? Word. That's right. Problems.
John Cena has become the WWE World Championship. I said championship, so let that sink in for a moment. Since Brock Lesnar has won the championship at SummerSlam, the only constant on Monday Night Raw has been John Cena. Say what you want about Super Cena, or his 5 moves, or that he's boring, or the fact that he's the only one on the roster that can elevate anyone simply by being in the ring with them. Cena has told the audience that Ambrose is crazy and an amazing talent. He has mentioned that Rollins may be the future of the WWE, and he is. I hate to use this term, endorsing them. John Cena and Randy Orton will not main event Hell in a Cell. Cena lost, so he gets the second main event. Now it's time to see if Rollins and Ambrose are both ready to compete as main event players. Some of you still will not understand that John Cena is actually helping the younger talent. And the rest of you will know that David Hero has spoken.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero here on Saturday, October 18th.
Yes, it is the 18th.
You got something to say?
Yeah, I do. I have this week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring, the only place that I trust to buy my diamonds. I'm going to go back a week since we weren't here last week.
We weren't.
This week's Diamond of the Ring is the one, the great one, The Rock. He came out and he took over that entire segment, that entire show. And it reminded me how great catchphrases were. Because the entire segment was one big sing-along catchphrase. He got every one of his spots in. The crowd was into it. They were chanting. They were on their feet. They were excited to see the great one. And that's exactly how you should do a special event, a special attraction like The Rock. They use him the right way, unlike Hogan, who they bring out every couple weeks. So this week's Robert Hack and last week's Diamond of the Ring, the place that I trust to buy my diamonds, The Rock.
I think that's a great selection, but I also think it's worth discussing the significance of the person he was in the ring with.
Lana?
Well, we saw the significance of that. But Rusev, what a rub.
It was a huge rub for Rusev. I mean, he couldn't have asked for a better spot. And even though The Rock got the better of him, he will.
Yep, he's up there now.
But he's now main event player because of what he did with The Rock.
It's this week's Dime of the Ring, ladies and gentlemen. Let's now go to Linda Kay with this week's Event Center.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Shenanigans are coming to St. Louis for the Survivor Series on November 23rd. This is a free admission event and will be held at the world-famous Hard Rock Cafe right next door to the Scott Trade Center, which will host the WWE Survivor Series that evening. Kevin Nash and Thea Rosita Trinidad will be appearing for a meet and greet in St. Louis, and you can RSVP for your free tickets right now at pwrshow.com. Milwaukee's first Comic-Con Fantasticon will take place next weekend at the Ramada Milwaukee Airport, featuring stars from CW18's Arrow, along with Mean Gene Okerlund, Al Snow, and Thea Rosita Trinidad. Get information on both of these events right now at blizzardbrawl.com. WrestleMania travel packages went on sale this week, and PWR is pleased to bring Shenanigans back to WrestleMania, and we guarantee you that it will be the biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend. Big Sexy Kevin Nash is again hosting the Shenanigans party in San Jose, and already signed for the event are several divas and knockouts, including former TNA knockout Rosita and former WWE diva Melina. PWR has also signed DJ Zima Ian to be the official DJ for the Shenanigans Club party. All attendees will get free food and free drinks all night long at the party, along with a red carpet meet and greet. Tickets for the Shenanigans Club party are available right now at pwrshow.com, and if you order now, you get a special early bird price, saving you $15 off your ticket. Don't wait, buy now and be a part of the biggest party of WrestleMania weekend in San Jose, the Shenanigans Club Party. And now let's go to our colleague Mean Gene Okerlund to tell you about the next GLCW event.
Mean Gene Okerlund here with a little reminder. Sunday, October the 26th, the Great Lakes Championship Wrestling is going to hang it all out for one spectacular day of Oktoberfest. Circle B in Cedarburg, you can be part of it. Kids, by the way, in Halloween costumes, get in free. I'm going to be there along with the great Al Snow. Al has got a title defense, and also Thea Trinidad, one of the bright stars on the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to be an event that you'll truly enjoy. It's part of a great time of the year in this part of the country, Oktoberfest, Sunday, October the 26th, Circle B in Cedarburg. Be there.
Thank you, Gino, Mean Gene Okerlund. And
I can't wait for next Sunday.
It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be fantastic. Kids that show up in a Halloween costume get in for free. Thea Trinidad is going to be the judge of the Halloween costume contest. Who are you going to go as?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't dress up.
Really?
I dress up. I don't dress up.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen you in a costume or two before.
And as said earlier on this broadcast, next week our guest here to talk about his his show on CBS Survivor and his time in TNA Impact Wrestling. Robbie E. will be.
That is going to be one of the most interesting and yet probably painful interviews you're ever going to do. I love Robbie, but
let's go to this week's TNA Impact Wrestling report. And Bound for Glory was last Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, emanating from Japan. And David, I got to start with this. It was on pay-per-view. It was a taped show.
Right.
It was a great wrestling show, as I talked about with Austin Aries earlier. Wrestling show, but it had no bearing on the current product.
Do you know what frustrated me about the Bound for Glory pay-per-view?
What frustrated you about the Bound for Glory pay-per-view?
Was the fans that complained that it was on delay. No kidding, moron. It's like...
You're vicious this week.
It's in another country. It has to be on a tape delay. It can't be live. It wouldn't work. So for anyone that complained, oh, they can't even do a live pay-per-view, logistically, they couldn't do it.
SummerSlam 92 wasn't live.
No. And no one knew the difference. No. The only reason why people knew it was on delay is because of the internet, and that the reports were online after the show happened.
You know, one interesting report on the internet came via Twitter. The president of TNA Impact Wrestling, Dixie Carter.
Yes.
Well, she watched it from Nashville.
Well, yeah.
She wasn't there.
I don't think she'd like the food.
I'm sorry?
I'm surprised she wasn't there for the Hall of Fame induction. Right? Her company's Hall of Fame and she's not there. At least Vince is in the green room.
It's their biggest show of the year.
No, it's not.
They didn't tell us it was this year.
No.
But they have historically said it's their biggest show of the year.
Right.
And they essentially phoned it in.
Well, when the acronym is BFG?
There's no D in it.
That's a G.
Oh. But the matches, the results from Japan in a partnership.
I'll let you do this part.
Because Samoa Joe, in a great matchup, defeated Kaz, Hayashi, and Low-Ki. And that was pretty much as you said it would go last week in our special online edition, looking at Bound for Glory, David Hero. EC3 gets a win over Ryoto Hama.
And I thought he would win, but he beat up a big dude.
Yeah. MVP gets a win over Kazuma Sakamoto. And Minoru Tanaka defeated
You're doing a great job. I almost said the wrong word.
I'm phonetically gifted.
I was going to say, your phonetics are fantastic.
Team 3D gets a win over Abyss and Tommy Dreamer, and you had said that this was a match they could have actually probably built up a little bit.
Yes. And they did, and all of a sudden, Team 3D shows the Bullet Club t-shirts, which is a rival company.
Bully Ray apparently now officially gone from TNA Impact Wrestling as well.
He got his payday.
Well.
Oh, believe me, I'm sure he got that before he hopped on the plane to Japan. There's no way he's going to go that far for nothing.
The legendary Great Muta and Yoshihiro Tajiri defeated the Great Sonata and Jane Storm. Interesting in this matchup as well as Great Sonata, somewhat of a playoff of the Great Muta. The pay-per-view ended with Team 3D standing tall, as you talked about with their Bullet Club, with a challenge to the Bullet Club. Well, it was a good wrestling show. It probably would have been better as a special.
You want to know something? It's safe to say it was like one of their one-night-only pay-per-views.
Yeah. Barely mentioned.
But they charged a lot more for it.
Yes, they did.
That was still
I think they have pay-per-view obligations they still need to meet.
I'm sure they do.
So I'm pretty sure there's other layers to this.
But how, and I feel bad. Obviously the people in Japan didn't care because they still got to see what they wanted to see.
I was surprised at how small the venue was.
I was too. It's an 1,800 seat building.
Yes.
Just so you know.
It was full.
Just so you know, Blizzard Brawl seats 2,000 people. Okay?
This is week's TNA Report, ladies and gentlemen. We invite you to join us again here next week on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night, as our guest will be Robbie E. Until then, folks, for that one, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in 1 week's time here on the Pro Wrestling Report.